I like it. I like it. I
It
like
looks like, well, you should like it because you're alive right now. Welcome to the world. Hello. We've been gone for a couple of days with some technical difficulties. Your travels are over for now. Welcome home. We love you, Vinny.
well.
Welcome back.
It's good to be back with you, Michael. It's good. You also realize that we are lucky enough to live in a place where there is a lot of internet. When you get to certain places, the internet is not the same. Maybe it makes you understand a little bit more why so many people have different opinions of life and everything. But what I tell you, there are still a lot of parts of this country that need the internet and need to get something else besides Fox News on their television sets or
You
whatever.
need a
Whatever.
you need a hot spot in the worst way.
Yeah, you need something. It's really crazy. But anyway, we're here. We're in. I'm in Bandon, Oregon,
Bandon.
continuing which by about 10 miles. And starting today, I'm heading up the Oregon coast, back towards Seattle, which is usually where you go when you head up the Oregon coast. But there's a lot of cool, interesting things along the coast to see, and I'm going to try to see as many of them as I can.
You're going to be going through
Go.
Tillamook.
I'm stopping in Tillamook. I'm going to hit the cheese and the ice cream. I figure it should be pretty good for a few pounds there at Tillamook. And
In for a penny, in for a pound.
well, it's supposed to be a really interesting tour of the factory. I've never been on that tour, so it'll be fun to. And I like factory tours, so I think it'll be kind of fun to hit it, see it, and enjoy it, and again continue my time. You know, Michael, the best thing about this trip is that I just haven't been. I've had a good chance to just not be plugged into what's going on in the world. And
You missed a lot of shit.
well, yeah, I did. I mean, I caught some of it, and I purposely didn't look at a lot of it because I'm just trying to go through a week or two. Just what's going to happen is going to happen, and there's nothing that you or I or many people are going to do about it. I mean, I know I'm going to go out to protest tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing the protest along the coast. But I got to tell you that listen, we're living in a police state, pal. Whether you like it, I like it. The people like it.
The police don't
They got
even seem to like it, though. How come the police don't seem to be having any more fun than they're having? They're not having any fun. It's their
well,
state
yeah,
now.
because police are us, and they realize that when they run out of us, they're going to come after them. Plain and simple. I think. I mean,
Plus,
I don't know. It'd be good to get our friend Jim Fuda on and ask him what the police opinion is. Jim,
plus, it's tough. It's tough to have the realization that you are the instrument of their hate. You are the instrument of their problem. You're the instrument of their control. You are the first line of defense and the first line of offense, depending on what day it is.
well, yeah, and it's less. I mean, I've heard in some quarters, some people saying, "Well, gee, I didn't. This is what isn't what I signed up for when I voted for Slapdick." And I laugh at them and I say, "What did you think you were signing up for?
A Boy
What did
Scout.
you think?" He told you. I mean, it's not that you got. He lies about a lot of things. He didn't lie about this.
He
He
lied
was
about
very
Project
clear about.
2025.
Yeah, I mean, he's very clear about this that he was going to do this and run the world like this. There was no. Well, I'm going to really bring peace and love to the world, and now he's turned into a tyrant. You know,
Want to
you voted.
turn Benjamin Netanyahu into a cookie maker. He makes the most delicious cookies, and he's
Well,
happier now.
that's uh, that's a whole nother bag of worms that we've gotten ourselves into, and I don't. I mean, you said all along that this is not going to end well, and I don't know if this is the beginning of it not ending well.
Every day is the beginning of another bad chapter that could end it all badly.
Yeah, I mean, uh, and again, I just feel, I feel like that there just aren't a lot of people out there that want to take him on, and when the people that do want to take him on stand up, they're knocked down as quickly as they were in Nazi Germany. And everybody
Three
says,
federal
"Oh,
agents take you.
yeah,
Three
don't
federal agents
compare
take you
him
to the
to Nazi.
hallway and put the handcuffs on you.
Yeah,
I'm a
don't compare
senator.
him to Nazi Germany." But I mean, what else do you compare it to? Uh, you want to go with fascist Italy? Okay, I'll give you that. It's about the same, but it is. I mean, when somebody can't stand up in a meeting and say to an official that you're wrong and I don't believe in you, uh, that's Nazi Germany.
We'll get you on the street. We'll get you in a federal building. We'll get you at the corner. We'll get you. We'll find you. We'll get you.
Yeah, I
It'll be
just
3-on-1.
a thing this morning where up in Cedro Woolley, Washington, a bunch of guys were going to work in a pickup truck, and the ICE swept in, pulled them out of their truck, and took them off to somewhere.
Off to disappear.
And we
You
don't know
boys
who
in the
these guys.
mood.
They're not wearing uh, markings or anything, so you don't know who's grabbing you. Could be a band of thieves grabbing you. You don't know.
The boys from the Huskow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And Cedro Woolley was a great disc jockey, by the way. It's too bad his name has been maligned so badly.
Yeah, he was a great guy, but Michael, I think I'm more disturbed right now about the death of Brian Wilson. That's been kind of sitting heavy on my soul for the last couple of days.
Been watching a lot of interviews with him, and he was an interesting fellow in that he didn't seem to be from Earth. His reaction, his conversations, his choice of words, his career, all the things that made him famous also made him completely unique and different, and seemingly from another planet.
Yeah, I mean, it was painfully obvious if you followed his career that at some point he became mentally ill.
Yeah.
The pressure, the expectation, the abuse from his
Murray
father.
Wilson.
Murray Wilson, who really wanted to be the star. It all caught up with him at some point. Probably in that airplane when he flipped out and just said he didn't want to tour anymore. He didn't want to go on the road anymore. He just wanted to stay in the studio because he felt safe.
Remember, Bobby Dale told me the story when he was on KFWB, and the Beach Boys were on their way up the charts for the first few times, that they played a concert in LA, and Bobby was there, and Murray Wilson walked in, and the band as a whole, all his sons and his cousins, went, "Boo! Get off! Get him out of here! Get him out of here!" It was a joke to Bobby, and he made it a joke. But the fact was, it was deadly serious, and only got worse as the years went on.
Yeah. I mean, there was obviously a great rift there, but also the other side of it is that it was an incredible partnership in that, you could say that the Beach Boys wouldn't have been the Beach Boys without Murray Wilson. And maybe Brian wouldn't have written some of the songs he did or done some of the stuff he did without Murray pushing him.
It's possible.
And there always seemed to be somebody in Brian's life who was trying to take his genius and use his genius. once they got rid of Murray, then and he realized how and they realized how sick he was. Then it was Eugene Landy that came in, and under the guise of curing him, of making him feel better, gave him all sorts of drugs and stuff because he wanted to control his genius.
And he did for several years.
Yeah, the world had no trouble.
And the family said, "Good luck with him. Good luck."
Yeah, I mean, family had it. They were all making their money off of him.
And they never, for all the art that they created, they never fixed anything. If you think about Dennis Wilson, never got treatment for alcoholism, never ever was set straight, never ever was intervened. They never did an intervention. They never got him clean. They never sent him to sober camp, not once. With all their resources, with all they knew about his problems, he drank and drugged himself to death.
Well, and to be fair, I mean, I don't know that we accept sober camp now, and we accept that as part of a regular routine in life. If you get to that point where you have a problem, you go and get it fixed. In those days, go back a bunch of years, 1968, 69, 70, people didn't go to sober camp. They just OD'd. Janis Joplin didn't go to sober camp.
You made it to 27 and you cashed out.
Yeah. I mean, that was it. You weren't, they didn't look at you and say, well, we can straighten this guy out. We can do this. We can do that. We can, they were seen as a degenerate part of society.
For that matter, the same can be said about Sly Stone. They never got him off his cocaine.
Right.
He destroyed his genius, and there was no part two.
And his story was maybe even sadder. How many times? Remember, we used to get that After magazine every month or 2 months or quarterly. I forget what it came. And you looked in the back at the After magazine, and there was a list of people that you couldn't work for. And Sly Stone was always on that list. He was every magazine I ever got in 20 years that I was, whatever it was that they were sending that magazine out. He was in. There was two things listed in the back of that magazine. There was the "You Can't Work for Him" list, and there was the union owes you money list. And it always struck me funny that he was on both lists.
He wasn't in anybody's camp. He wasn't.
Right.
He was not present and accounted for.
You couldn't work for him.
You couldn't find him.
You owed him money. I always thought that was, and I looked for that every time I got the magazine, because I just thought it was first of all, it was Sly Stone, and it was probably the most famous person on the list. Although I think the ShamWow guy was on that list once too, Vince, the ShamWow guy. But I just always found that odd about Sly Stone, that he couldn't. I mean, he must have had money. Even if he got exploited, he probably still had. I mean, his stuff was so prolific and so numerable in that time period that he must have had some money. I don't know that he coked his way out of all his money.
It's really so sad because both of them had a gift for composition, arrangement, production. Sly's stuff was so soulful, and yet it was completely unique to that carnival sound they had. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun.
There was an article, I think it was maybe in the New York Times, I forget, that Everyday People might be the most American song ever written, because it really tackles the problems of America and talks about America in a base way that whether you're black or white, red or green or blue or orange or whatever color you are, you can understand it. It applies to you because that's what this country is made up of.
No,
Everyday people.
no matter who you are, you're an everyday person.
Yeah. And some of the things laid down in the song. I am no better and neither are you. We are the same whatever we do, and naming occupations and stuff. And this writer, I forget who it was, laid down the case that Sly Stone might, forget every other band that you think. Sly Stone might have been the most American band. Sly and the Family Stone. It was family. It was family fighting each other.
It was white guys. It was girls. It was
White guys. It was girls. It was singing about equality. It was singing about so many different things that were going on in
and for all
American
his
life.
talent, his brother and his sister were just as great singers as he was.
Yeah, yeah, Cynthia and I forget the brother's name. You remember the brother's name?
The guitarist.
Yeah, I forget his name. But two people who left us with incredible sounds to listen to that will be famous hundreds of years from now. People will still be listening to dance to the music and still be listening to pick a Brian Wilson song. I mean, there's a whole channel on satellite radio right now, channel 79, dedicated to Brian Wilson. And
She's so fine, my 409.
Yeah. And just his ability to write stuff that even in his most mentally incapacitated was still better than most people were writing out there. Some of it was pretty weird, some of the
Remember his
albums.
song called John? Remember his song called Johnny Carson?
No, I don't know if I know that one. I don't know if I saw that.
Look it up.
Or heard that. One of my favorite Beach Boys songs was written while he and Murray were watching Johnny Carson.
Dan Carlisle, the famous disc jockey we worked with at the City, and I had a favorite song of the Beach Boys, and he played it all the time. "Don't Worry, Baby." If you remember that one.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that. Yeah. When you race today, take along my love with you. She told me, baby, when you race today, just take along my love with you. I mean, if you were a part of car culture, racing culture, if you were around that culture in the 60s, as I was, that was every guy's who had a hot rod and a girlfriend. That was his dream. That's why guys put their girlfriends' names on the door of their car. Some guys had to carry some wet and dry sandpaper with them. They scratched the name off the car and put another one on there.
So it's got to go, making a change in the lineup.
Making a change under new management. And some guys didn't put the names on because they were
never got the name.
Well, yeah, in some cases probably, but it was just really so many of those songs. And again, if I go back, one of my favorite Beach Boys songs is a song called "Breakaway" that was written by Brian and Murray in 1969, I think I want to say 69 to 70. And it was that period of the Beach Boys where they had kind of not gone away completely, but they weren't selling out they were touring a lot in Europe because they were still hot in Europe, and they wrote this song "Breakaway," and it's just an incredible song. You know, uh, when and it's about how time and life passes you by, and you have to break away
Adapt.
the mold to to participate in it. Not the writings of a crazy man, the writings of somebody who has their finger on the pulse of that time.
Well, there
Go
was
back.
always a tragic story. There's always two sides to the Beach Boy coin. One is the sun, the surf, the cars, the imagery, the extraordinary sound that they had was completely unique to that family's voices, and the fact that harmony was a part of everything they did on stage, except being with each other, except their feelings towards each other, except their ability to get along with each other, their ability to sue one another and complain about one another and fractionalize and fire one another. They were never at peace, ever.
Yeah, I mean it's. I mean, you hear some of the stories from some of the people that ran through that group. Um, I mean, you think of some, the people and the problems that they had with each other that seemed to start out at an early age.
Yep.
Mike Love was always upset that he never thought he got the credit. Uh, and when Brian really started to get acknowledged as the genius of the group, um,
Mike Love was not on that list.
Mike Love was not on the uh, the list of people who were, I mean, I don't know. Every film I've seen about the Beach Boys always has Mike Love talking about how he contributed good vibrations to good vibrations. I mean, that seems to be the extent of his creative contribution to the Beach Boys. Uh,
He felt
you
left
know,
out. He felt left behind. He wasn't a genius and he wasn't a Wilson.
yeah, I mean, he probably did. He probably did. But yet, through it all, they hung on to him. I mean, I mean, the Wilsons, as far as I know, and again, I don't know the story intimately, but the Wilsons seemed to stay loyal to him. They didn't, it wasn't until the later years when they really got, uh, and listen, it wasn't because his voice couldn't be replaced. Um, I guess it was a piece of family loyalty, or I don't know. Maybe he had Polaroids of everybody. I don't know, but he certainly felt like he was um, rejected by the others in the clan, or it seems that he
And he
felt
was
like
he was he was he was a meditator and didn't do the drugs that the other guys did, that Brian and Dennis and Carl were more familiar with.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he was, and if you see some of the films of him in the studio with them at the time when even before the drugs, the psychedelics and stuff. I mean, even with just the drinking and the partying, he didn't seem, he seemed to be in a different place. And I mean, he didn't want to shift gears when Brian's creativity opened up in 65, 66. when
Mike
when
Love still
Brian
wanted to make surf songs.
yeah when Brian was his vision was going like move, you know Mike Love wanted to Brian wanted to turn out albums. Mike Love wanted to stick with 45s. And I don't know. Again, I'm not so intimate that I know exactly what happened, but it seemed like Murray said before he was kicked out, let Brian, he's smart enough to realize, let Brian do what Brian does. If Brian doesn't want to go on the road, to stand in the studio and, screaming Hal Blaine how to hit the drum, hit the drum, boom, boom, instead of boomity boom. Let Brian do it.
And the interesting thing about that period is the people in the studio that he was giving direction to were all guys from the Wrecking Crew. They were all Phil Spector musicians that Brian had gotten to be his house band. The Beach Boys weren't in the studio till all the tracks were finished, and then it was time to do the vocals separate from the tracks.
Right. Carol Kane, Tommy Tedesco,
Hal Blaine, Larry Knechtel.
Hal Blaine, Larry Knechtel. Who was the other drummer? The African American guy. I can't think of his name.
Can't think of all their names.
Yeah, but there was, and if you want to know a lot more about the Beach Boys sound, I think it's a perennial on Prime Video, Amazon Prime Video, the movie The Wrecking Crew.
Gotta see it. You gotta see it.
Yeah, check that movie out. And also check out all of the Beach Boy movies. There's 5 or 6 movies out about the Beach Boys. Love and Mercy, which is one of them, with Cusack, I think, playing John Cusack playing Brian Wilson. Then there's there's another. I forget the guy who played Brian Wilson, but there was one that was out a few years ago. There's also a great TV movie, believe it or not. They did a TV movie about the Beach Boys, and they really whoever wrote it knew the situation, because they, I think the movie was called The Beach Boys or something like that, but they had the Murray thing down. And it really showed the part of the abuse of Murray in the whole scene.
Physical and psychological abuse.
Yeah, it was abuse. It was abuse in every sense of the manner from a young age, because Murray, who was a frustrated musician, saw Brian and his sons as his ticket to fame.
And his rivals.
It's a fascinating story that, depending on how into it you are, there's just a ton of stuff out there about it. YouTube has probably 1,000 titles of Beach Boys documentaries by everybody from Brian himself and officially kind of authorized stuff, all the way through to the unofficial people who had an axe to grind with them for one reason or another.
Well, it seems like there's always the truth, as complicated as it can be, and then there's Mike Love's version.
It's funny because in all of them, maybe even in the Mike Love version, Love does not come off.
He's a difficult guy.
Mike Love's a wrongly named guy in the history of naming people.
He no love.
He just, and I don't doubt the guy had talent. He brought a component to that sound. The way he went in and out and did his, and I don't know that Brian wrote that stuff for him or he came up with it on his own, but he definitely had a piece of that sound and owned a piece of that sound. But boy, oh boy, was it, he just seemed like a hard person to work with.
Hard to love him.
I don't know that he ever changed. Did he?
Dip, 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 dip.
Yeah, he had that, unmistakable. And even when you listen to the newest or newer stuff, like God, That's Why God Made the Radio, which is actually a great song.
Oh yeah, sounds beautiful.
Yeah, if there's still if there was still radio, it probably would have been a #1 hit last summer or 2 summers ago.
But there wasn't any radio to play the song about the radio.
Yes, much like God, many people have forgotten about the radio. Strange how that comes together. Oh man, so it's a bit so it's a sad it's a sad time in our country to begin with, and then to have 2 deaths like this back to back, um, makes it sad. But listen, both of these guys led, and I'm talking about Sly Stone and Brian Wilson. Both led pretty full lives.
Incredible influence they had over the culture that they lived in.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I go back to the while everybody says that the Beach Boys are the all-American band, this article seemed to make the case that Sly and the Family Stone were as much of an all-American band as anybody. Now, you remember the days when Sly Stone was a DJ on K-Soul, right?
Correct.
What was that like? I mean, did anybody have the sense that he was going to be what he turned out to be when he was a DJ, or was that like something that was
no way? That was coming to the future, and his first production was not for the Family Stone; it was for the Mojo Men and the Vegetables, and early groups that were signed to Autumn Records by Tom Donahue and Bobby Mitchell and KYA.
Was the Mojo Men Pictures of Matchstick Men? Was that their?
Sit Down, I Think I Love You was their first hit.
Oh, Sit Down, Sit Down. Yeah. I always feel better when I talk about music, Michael. I don't know, politics.
I know.
It's getting so ugly out there.
Get up and dance to the music. Dance to the fucking music.
Well, that's the thing. If we could, well, we have a president that dances, but when he does, it's not pretty.
It's not musical. It's not animal. It's sort of.
Well, you know what it is? He doesn't understand the words. He doesn't know what he's dancing. I mean, I can't imagine he has any idea what YMCA means.
Not a clue.
And I don't have any idea that anybody wants to tell him what it means.
No one dares.
He just figures, well, people dance to it at a baseball game, so it must be okay.
Stephen Miller said it would be okay.
Yeah, my little Goebbels said it would be okay. So it would be okay.
I'm afraid that what happened last night in the attack in Iran is going to be the model for future wars. They say there won't be any counterattack because we killed them all in the first attack.
Yeah,
make sure you just kill them all, and there's nobody going to fight back.
Tell me a little bit about what, because I've not paid attention to it, to be honest with you. So tell me what happened. I know there was an attack. I know that Israel attacked Iran's nuclear stuff, and then Iran attacked back with drones, but I don't know much beyond that. Kind of clue me in on what happened.
Well, the short version is Israel hit over 100 sites. Some were working for the enrichment of the uranium for the bomb that they have yet to make, but they also hit the military headquarters, killing the generals and the top leaders, killing the scientists that put together the program, killing the ballistic missile efforts, killing political leaders. They had Mossad in the streets of Tehran and the other targeted cities, working secretly behind the scenes with the instruments of death that they had smuggled across the border with them. So they did the killing in person. They did the site stuff and the bombing by jets. They had ballistic missiles that were destroying different targets, and they killed them all. They just about killed all the leadership. of the Iranian Guard and the political leaders and the scientific leaders. It's really an extensive hit. Hundreds dead, and an extraordinary attack given the fact that Trump was sending his envoys to negotiate this weekend for the legal destruction of the nuclear program. So we don't know who knew what, or how informed the Trump side was of what Israel had planned, but there seems to be a direct conflict and a snafu there. They were both in the area, both working on the project, one peacefully with negotiations, and the other with the total destruction of the leadership, scientific, political, and military of the the Iranian Guard.
Well, that's what kind of shocked me is
Kill them all.
I thought that that Trump and his minions were negotiating with the Iranians, and that basically that the deal that had been put in place by Obama years ago was really kind of something similar to what the Trump people were proposing. Somewhat different,
Exactly.
but the framework was the same framework.
You're right. You're right about that.
And so when I saw that Israel hit, first thing I thought was, here we go. We start World War III here because, everybody's going to be choosing up sides here pretty soon. And
well, there's nobody playing for Iran, unfortunately. They don't have anybody to play on their team anymore.
Well, you know what? There is always somebody to play for the team. And the thing you have to worry about is do they go with the more radical, people in that hierarchy of society, or do they go with
the so-called hardliners?
Yeah, the hardliners, or does the bomb them into submission idea work? And they say, well, now that you've killed us, or do they say, you know what, it's time we blow something up in America?
Anywhere we can.
To come down again, a time for the Golden Gate Bridge, or there's not a hell of a lot to stop these people anymore. I don't think. I don't trust Kristi Noem as the head of anything. I don't trust her to be the head of a dog pound. Well, that's even more. That's probably more prolific.
It's another story for another time.
Yeah, but Hegseth and these people, and now what's this crap I see that he's laying out plans to attack Greenland?
I hadn't read that.
Yeah, I read that this morning, or saw that this morning, that he has that they formulated attack plans to take over Greenland. I mean, what the fuck?
Try taking over Alabama first.
Yeah. Before you want to go out and start taking people over, try taking care of your own backyard. I mean,
where are you going to be tomorrow for the protest day? What part of Oregon will you be in? Do you know?
Well,
you can guess.
I'm moving up the coast. I'm thinking Tillamook.
Well, cheese all the time.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, because if I'm protesting, I want to be eating some good Swiss cheese.
Damn right.
I think that's, that was the problem with the protest in New York and Vietnam against Vietnam, is that the food that was served, although good, was not. I mean, it was, lentils, and it was the stuff that the Peace Kitchen could put together. The diggers. Remember the diggers? Well, they used to cook the meals. They used to help out cooking the meals. And the diggers would show up with a truckload of lentils, a truckload of rice, and, some water coolers. And say, all right,
lunch is served.
Lunch is served. There you go. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where I do wind up. But let me quickly tell you that I'm driving something that is very much surprised me in a Volkswagen Atlas, which I
I
don't know
don't
if
know
you've
the
ever.
Atlas.
It's the Atlas is their big SUV,
Suburban
and
style.
yeah, not as big as a Suburban, but it's a 3 seat, um, larger compact SUV, and this thing is a dream. It's a great road car. You know, when you're on the road, you want something that's comfortable. You want something that has massaging seats
Oh
because
dear.
it's like driving through the forest in Oregon, getting your ass massaged. You
Oh.
know, one way or the other. This is the other. You know, you hit the button, and the massage stuff goes. The seats heat up. Um, Nice little road car. If everything fits in there nicely, it handles well. It has enough. It has a lot, a bunch of variables on the handling stuff that you can put it in sport, but you also can put it in. I took it off road by Shasta and by Lake Shasta, and it handled the dirt off road with the ruts and everything, and handled it really nicely. It was really really a beautiful ride. So it does the off road and it does the highway.
Careful when you go off road in Shasta, you end up in a UFO film.
Well, yeah, that's the thing that I was a little worried about because that's a portal, right?
Yeah, it's a portal or something.
Well, I got to think that if the aliens come and they see you going down the street in this very nice red Volkswagen SUV, that they're going to open the door.
Oh, yeah.
Let's bring that thing in. We want to see what we want to take it apart and see what it's about.
Let me spot you this one.
We've heard about this German engineering, and so we want to see what it's all about. What else can I
Pull it
tell
right
you?
over, pull it right over there. Let me drive for a while.
Exactly. I wonder if they have car. Which do they have any knowledge of what planets the portal opens to?
It's just a back and forth. It's like going to Home Depot. Bad example.
Yeah, well, you don't want to go to Home Depot these days. If you're any darker than me, you just don't want to go because you could get snatched. You could be a Jewish kid from New York and get
Off you
snatched
go.
up. You know,
Off you go.
from southern Israel, and you got the dark skin because you've been out in the olive fields, and
Trouble,
all of
trouble,
a sudden
trouble.
you're out of here. So it's a bit of a scary proposition. That's why I feel bad for Listen, there's people that have come to this country to want to build a better life, just like my grandfather did, and my great grandfather on the Irish side. All they wanted was a better life, and they hear that there's a better life here in America, and they want a piece of that, just like our ancestors did. None of us belong here. The only ones that have a right to throw anybody out here are the Indians, or the Native Americans. Those are the people that have a right to throw people out.
You can start with Stephen Miller.
What a despicable little speck of shit. Really, just and yet, listen, I'm in Southern Oregon here, or Central Oregon, driving through from uh, Crater Lake, which was I don't know. Have you ever been to Crater Lake? I mean, it's spectacular. It's unbelievable how beautiful it is.
That's a blue you can't find anywhere else.
Oh, it's just stunning. And we couldn't even drive around the whole lake. We could only go to the lodge because there's still snow. I've never seen. I mean, it's on the top 10 most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. It's unbelievable. Um, but driving from Crater Lake and to Crater Lake, and then across Oregon, out here to the coast, it's Trump land. Trump signs all over the place. Every, not every barn, but most barns you see have a Trump sign on them. Most farms you see have a Trump sign facing the road. You think this guy, who's going to come and pick their crops?
I haven't given that any thought.
Who's going to come and who's coming to clean their houses? Who's coming to water their vegetables? Who's coming to work building up their barns and farms and different things that have to be done? Who's doing that? Americans aren't coming for those jobs.
Never have.
I spoke Fred Meyer the other night to get gas. Here in Oregon, you have the people who pump the gas. This lazy son of a bitch didn't even want to clean my windows. I mean, Americans.
Where's the great tradition of full service?
As the Allman Brothers said, check your oil, wipe your windows, $1 gas.
Chuck Berry.
Yeah.
Too much monkey business.
It was unreal. This guy started talking to us about how he couldn't wait to get off work, go home and fix a meal. And listen, I'm not one to talk, but the last thing this guy needed was another meal. It was sad because you pull into a place and you expect to get service. And listen, I don't mind. I think to myself, this guy could have a good thing going. I mean, you pick up that squeegee, you wipe people's windows. There's usually a $2, $3, $5 tip in it for you these days. And if half the cars you pump gas into tip you got $100 a day. I got to think that $100 a day for putting gas in cars is not a bad deal.
And getting a reputation for full service.
Tax-free. But this guy was having none of it. He was going home to stick his frozen pizza in the microwave and make sure that the WWF was on.
And he's lazy boy.
But I fear that's, Mikey, I watch a lot of World War II documentaries. I'm very into what this country was in the 30s and the 40s. And I'm just of the mind that if we go to war, if there's a situation where we got to go to war, you're not going to be. There's going to be a traffic jam at the border to get to Canada. The draft Dodgers will be, the Dodgers will be a whole different meaning. We'll see. Well, we should probably close it out with I haven't even really watched baseball, but I see that the Giants
are hot.
Have picked it up a notch. The Giants for the first few days not swooning.
Well, they made some lineup changes, and then in the middle of their 7-game win streak, they lost their third baseman to the injured list and their catcher. So that's been a nick in their offense. But they lost last night, but they're playing the Dodgers. Half game out of first. We got 3 with the Dodgers. So let's go Giants.
Go Giants. Meanwhile, Mets are. It seems that that Soto has found his groove, and Pete Alonso is just superhuman.
He's a polar bear, I tell you.
There's just nothing. I called this guy a few years ago. I mean, this guy is just. He's Mr. Met.
And he's a big load.
Yeah, he's just a guy that he gets up to the plate, man, and he's ready to go. He's not dicking around, man. He's like, all right.
I'm up here to get a hit.
I'm up here to take care of business. I'm up here to take 3 for the Nationals. I'm up here to beat the crap out of the Phillies, teams that used to bother us. Don't bother us anymore.
We're comfortable on taking them out.
I love it.
Well, you should. Exciting team. It's nice to have Soto wake up.
Yeah, luckily our teams have kept both the Giants and the Mets. Mariners, they're up and down, you know.
They give you hope and then they lose it.
Well, you know, that's why it's always good to have another team to root for, right? It's always good to have that secondary team.
Have a good show tomorrow, Vinnie, at 11 o'clock.
Yes, we're gonna have a repeat tomorrow because I don't know if I'm gonna be in range. So we may be live. It may be a rerun. I don't know. Tune in at 11 o'clock and you'll see what's going on. I promise you something will be there at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning for drive time.
And find yourself a demonstration to join this weekend.
Well, not just that. I just don't know where as I say, the internet has been spotty. And I have been for the last couple of days, Michael, craving a fried egg sandwich. You know, like the sandwich we get in New York with the bacon and the egg on the Kaiser roll, and it's there, and you put it on, you put a little ketchup on, and you cut it in half, and you can walk with it, eat it. It's second to a New York hot dog in a New York style of sandwich. Well, I have been jonesing for this damn fried egg sandwich.
Where are you going to get it?
Well, that's the problem. I'm in Oregon, and then look at you, say fried egg sandwich, and look at you like just came out of that hole in Mount Shasta, from another planet. Yeah. So I don't know. We're going to try to find out. Maybe, and listen, maybe it's as simple as Denny's. Maybe I'm just
complicating it.
Maybe I just need to go into Denny's and explain to the guy behind the counter.
Take an egg.
Listen, matter of fact, do me a favor. Let me come behind the counter. And this is not the first time I've done this. I mean, I remember Yellowstone many years ago. I wanted an egg cream for some reason. I was craving an egg cream. And the guy let me come behind the counter and show him because he had an old-time soda fountain. And explaining to him what an egg cream was. And he let me come behind the counter and make egg creams.
There's no egg and there's no cream, first of all.
No egg and there's no cream. You got a little milk, a little chocolate syrup, a little seltzer. And he had seltzer, so he had the key ingredient.
You could spritz.
Maybe there's a Denny's somewhere or some restaurant where the guy will let me come behind the counter and make myself a fried egg sandwich. I'll pay him for it. I don't want anything for free, but I want a damn fried egg. It's just a drippy egg with some bacon, some salt, some pepper, some ketchup, a little butter on the roll, and you put the top of the roll on the bottom of the roll, and you eat the damn thing.
Eat the damn thing. Good luck, Finn.
It's not hard. I'm not asking for the impossible. I'm not asking for brajol. I'm not asking for a triple. I'm asking for American egg.
Big ziti. It's easier to get big ziti.
Oh my God. Oh, Michael, my sister made big ziti last weekend. Oh, holy Christ. She's gotten better. I mean, the older she gets, the better her ziti makes. I could imagine why my Aunt Millie, who was, 90 when she died, when she was in her 80s, made the best big ziti in her life.
Of course.
I mean, this stuff was unbelievable. I keep telling you should make pans of this and sell it to the neighbors or some restaurants or something like that. I mean, it's nothing better. When it comes to Italian food, she gets the ricotta cheese to be just as gooey as it needs to be, and the mozzarella cheese to be just as stringy as it needs to be.
No,
and the meat in there, the chopped meat, she gets it perfect. It's not burnt. It's just perfect. And the only thing you need is a couple of loaves of Bellacicco's Italian bread. Well, what's better in life?
Nothing. The whole world is right once again.
The world is beautiful. Iran isn't getting attacked. Trump isn't president. I mean, there's just a
There are no senators on the ground with their handcuffs on.
no, none of that. Well, you can't. I mean, one of the Italian things you learn, one of the things you learn as an Italian kid, is you can't eat ziti with handcuffs in.
No, you can't.
You have to take the handcuffs off to eat the ziti. As was illustrated in the movie Goodfellas. I mean, Paulie's there cutting the garlic with the razor blade. Got to be thin, so when you put it in the oil,
Be able to see right through it. Yep.
It's a parchment. It's like parchment paper.
That's how you do it, in prison or anywhere.
All right. Listen, what are you doing for Father's Day?
Well, I'm going to go see Bo play baseball.
There you go. I'm not sure yet what we're doing, but Mikey, have a great Father's Day, man.
I will, Ben. You too.
Have a good Father's Day. Enjoy your grandchildren, and I just had some enjoyment down with family in Sacramento, and it was good to be down there and see everybody. And I'll go
baseball's part of that story too.
Yeah, and my daughter will take me somewhere, blindfold me, tie me up, and take me somewhere for Father's Day.
Make sure you get that order right. You can blindfold him and tie him up. You can tie him up and blindfold him. I don't know which.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's not off the 520 bridge. Don't pick Father's Day to get even with me.
Don't forget the Manischewitz to go with your big ziti.
Exactly. All right, Michael. Listen, I'll check you out on Monday if the Lord's willing. The creek don't rise, pal.
What a wine! I said that out of order, but I couldn't help it.
That's okay. Peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby.
What a wine! See you, Ben.
See you.